Swivl Sessions, interviews with field service entrepreneurs. Get insights and strategies from those who took the leap and risked it all to start their own home service companies. Just another great session, this one with Sims Hatcher from Hatcher Plumbing. Jeremy, what do you got?
Yeah, Tyson, in addition to regular calls with his plumbing company, Hatcher Plumbing, I like that Sims has found a niche in doing remodeling jobs, updating plumbing in old homes. He's currently working on a 100-year-old home, I think. Says a lot about his dedication to the craft and to the plumbing business.
It's always, to me, about the journey. And this guy was a musician and then a chef, to ultimately running a successful plumbing company. Hard work and attention to detail, that's how we got there. So Sims Hatcher with Hatcher Plumbing, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Swivl Sessions, where we dive into the world of field service entrepreneurship. Now, before we get into today's interview, let's introduce the host you'll be hearing from. First, we have Edgar, who is our resident sales guru. Here's our resident sales guru who's supposed to bring insights to the field service industry when he can. But let's put professional prowess aside for a moment to highlight a truly unique talent. Whenever Edgar enjoys a glass of wine, he somehow manages to share it with any nearby blankets. We're not sure if he's practicing abstract art or if gravity just has a special affection for him. So if you're inviting him over for a wine night, you might want to hide your favorite bros. Edgar.
I'm not really sure what to make of that, but thanks for those kind words, Rob. Hey, Sims, welcome. I'd like you to meet Tyson, John Tyson. He's our expert at tackling customer challenges and keeping things on track. Oh, and he drives a sweet Jeep that's basically a giant paperweight. It looks really great, but unfortunately, the only thing it's built for is sitting in the driveway at Fong's garage, pretending to work harder than it actually does. That's Tyson.
I keep Fong in business. All right, Sims, last but not least, there's Rob, the juicing, blending, camping mastermind behind Swivl, who can fix a pipe, or can't fix a pipe or lose a pound, but he definitely knows how to get locked out of his own office. Give it up for Rob, who's great at running a business, but he just can't run his keychain.
There's a lot there. Anyway, today we are thrilled to welcome Sims Hatcher, enterprising founder of Hatcher Plumbing company based in Huntsville, Alabama. Sims stepped into the world of entrepreneurship by starting his own plumbing company right there in Huntsville, and their service area covers greater Huntsville area. And we're excited to hear about what inspired Sims to launch his venture, challenges he's navigated, and the insights he's gained throughout his journey. So, Sims, welcome to Swivl Sessions. It's great to have you here. How are things in your world?
It's great to be here. It's good, man. We're wide open up here. One of the fastest growing cities in America. So that's a good place to be.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. Tell us about your background, Sims. What were you doing before you got into the plumbing industry and started your own business?
I actually started off, I was a musician for a big chunk of time through all of it. But I was a chef. I went to culinary school and had a small catering business, and kind of got drug into the plumbing world to make extra money, and then had a kid. And I was like, well, I've got to make real money and not work every weekend and every night and holidays. So I like to tell people I fed them, and now I'm cleaning it up.
So Sims, was there an awesome background leading into that, and that's what we love about these podcasts. But when you were going through that decision-making process, was there an aha moment where you were like, okay, I got to do this on my own?
It was more of a crap moment. I mean, it's good money, it's hard work. It's obviously none of these industries, I think, and the trade industry it's not glamorous. It's not something that people do because they're like, oh man, you know what I want to do for the rest of my life? It's shovel people's crap, or, possibly fry myself on their electrical box, or crawl around in a damn crawl space. It's tough work. It's the money that's so good, and the the consistency of the work is always there, and even more now than ever. I mean, nobody wants to do this. Most people don't want to do this work, and the, the market is not saturated, and I don't see it ever being saturated. There's always opportunity for people, and I think that younger people are seeing it more now, especially than in the past 20, 30 years, where they used to look at construction as this, basically like flipping burgers at Burger King. People talk down on it like you're slinging trash into a trash truck.
I'll say one thing that I've witnessed it as well. So my background is in plumbing, and it was fascinating to me how that kind of turned around. I saw initially back when I started in 2006. You could see it in just the wages that a person in plumbing would command. It was low, and it's not like there was a whole lot of plumbing demand change, but I think it's the supply of people who can do the work dwindled, and then it just started going up and up and up and up. There's a lot more respect
and
for
do
it,
it
sure.
well.
And that's still incredibly rare, and that's why I'm sure you're doing pretty well. But yeah, it's a wide open field for someone who's dedicated to a job. It's great money if they can do it well, show up when they're supposed to, and do the job correctly. Am I right?
Absolutely agree. I say it's shocking, but the longer I'm in this, it's not shocking. The quality of work that you see and the stories you hear from homeowners and builders of the shady work and shady dealings all across the board.
So, back to your background, can you tell me more like what kind of plumbing that you're into? Is it new construction? Is it service? Both?
It's mostly remodels. I'd say 95% of the work I do is remodels. We have a lot of old houses around here. Huntsville's an old city, so there's a lot of old homes. Huntsville had a huge boom back in the 50s and 60s with NASA, and then the military came in with the arsenal. And now we're having a huge boom with the FBI coming in and all the industries, because the government purchasing department for the military is called BRAC, and they're based here in Huntsville. So all these companies that sell to them are based out of here. So we have huge business for supplying the government and the military with, anything from socks to missiles and tanks and everything else.
So remodeling, do you do most of your work for a general contractor, or are you selling Tradesmen kitchen remodels and you're doing the whole 9 yards and contracting in the cabinets or whatever?
I'm mostly working with builders, and some of those builders are purchasing homes and flipping them themselves, or flipping them for investors that come in from all over the country. And there's also, homeowners that just want me to come in and they kind of do it themselves. And I come in and do the plumbing work, all the way up to whole home remodels where we're, gutting the thing completely and redoing it. So,
right. How do you find that work then? Is it relationships with the contractors, with the builders, the investors?
Yes, both of them. It's knowing the people that are doing it, and then going out and marketing, and then just word of mouth, and having, it's a real upside to, I've got nothing but 5-star reviews on Google, which is,
That's
that
great.
helps.
Yeah.
Especially for a plumber, guys like you in this industry, it's rare. So you can almost command whatever you want to price. How do you do your pricing?
Usually by fixture. I feel that's better, especially with builders, because I'm not charging by the hour, and I think it makes them more comfortable. It might sometimes suck if I come in and it takes me 20, 30 minutes to rough in a fixture as opposed to a couple hours, because you're charging hundreds of dollars for the fixture, but that factors in the cost of the pipe, the cost of the time, the cost of the permit, the insurance, the tools, my time. I mean, you tell somebody, just say for a round number, you're charging $1,000 a fixture, that they think that that's insane because they're like, well, I wish I made $1,000 an hour. It's like, oh, well, I mean, that's from start to finish. I mean, if we're roughing it in, that could take a couple hours, come back to set out. That could take an hour or two. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
As you know, you've plumbed. I mean,
I wouldn't say I'd plumbed.
and it's like, it's like, the old adage of, you go to see a mechanic and it takes him 5 minutes to open the hood and hit the block with a hammer. And he says, that'll be $500. It's not because the work he did took him $500 to do. The time, it's knowing where to hit the hammer.
Right. Well put.
It's from years of work, of doing this work.
Yep.
When did you jump into the business?
I started back in 2003.
Okay.
Nice.
And I've worked from doing sales in this industry to doing project management, all kinds of stuff to finally, saying I'm sick of working for people.
So you've done some service work in your time then?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Everyone hates the service work.
I love the
Draining,
Not
honesty.
everybody.
Right?
There's guys out there who love it. That is their bread and butter. But
It seems to be the dirtier side of plumbing. Am I right?
it is. That's the stuff that's getting on dirty jobs.
Yeah. I've seen some horror shows.
I have to, which is why I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. So let me ask you. But before you started your own business, you had some plumbing experience, yes?
Yeah.
And that's working for other companies?
Yes. I've worked in the field for a few companies doing utilities work, doing service work, roughing, commercial work, being on a set out and warranty crew, doing anything from small like spec homes to, multi-rise hotels and hospitals and stuff. So I've been lucky to run the gamut of plumbing and work in almost every aspect of it to really know what I enjoy.
And that's what you need, is a good foundation to be able to build a business of your own. And I'm assuming that you have the licensing, and that's another rarity in this industry I've found as well. At least in Georgia, it's really difficult. A lot of people, will have small businesses that don't have licenses. I'm assuming that you have everything that you need in Alabama.
Oh, you can't pull permits in Alabama without master's plumber's license, insurance, and all your up-to-date city licenses, and so your business licenses. You can't do business. You can't pull permits or do anything legally.
I think there are companies here that will just hire someone to pull permits for them. And I know that's definitely shouldn't be allowed, but I know it happens.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. All right. So tell me this. I always like to ask someone, when before you started your business, I'm sure you had some expectations of what that would look like. Maybe it means more fishing on Fridays or just a lot more money to throw around, right? Tell me about what you thought your expectations were, and then when you finally got into it, if those expectations were met, or if you just had new hurdles that hit you in the face, and the expectations that you had before were not met at all.
Well, I had, like I said, worked as a project manager and done project sales for bigger contractors for years, and always would put ads on Craigslist or Facebook that I'd do plumbing on the side, little fixture change outs, water heater change outs, stuff like that, just to make extra cash. And the more I did it, the more I had these builders and these remodel guys calling me, wanting me to come in and do full jobs for them. And I would take them on here and there and do them on the weekends. And I started realizing, hell, I can make, especially if I get licensed, and because I always charged way less than everybody else because I wasn't licensed, I wasn't insured. And I made that very obvious when I walked in people's houses. Look, I'm not licensed. I'm not insured. I am a licensed plumber, but I'm not a licensed business. I'm doing this on the side. And I just realized that I could charge way more and work, in all honesty, less. I mean, harder, by all means, harder, but way less, and make just as much, if not more money, and have freedom to be with my family and my kids and to go on trips and not have to fill out paperwork and do stupid meetings. And I got to work with, I got to, I'm not calling this a stupid meeting, but
Good recovery.
yeah, right. But I also enjoyed working with homeowners as opposed to business owners and people like the head of a hospital or the head of a hotel chain that it was so heartless and what's the bottom dollar, what's the end result here. When you work with a homeowner doing a remodel, there's this passion and excitement and they really get into it, as opposed to the inverse of it was how much money can we save and how cheap can we do that.
That's I see like the musician artist in you when you talk like that. It's what I was thinking I was going to hear was, man, like cash flow is tough. It's like, you don't get paid sometimes for 90 days when you're doing this work over there for this and that. That's kind of often what I hear from people that start their business. Did you see any issues in terms of like business operations and cash flow like that?
Oh, it's absolutely feast or famine. I mean, I guess I am kind of candy coating it and talking about all the good sides of it, but yeah, there's absolutely times where, you're in the middle of a project and you're working your ass off, but you're not going to get paid because you're not done yet. And, sometimes they don't pay you until the inspection's done and you can't get inspection because so-and-so didn't get inspection. There are definitely issues, but it's the freedom of it, I think, far outweighs the financial scourges at times.
Right. I think that's why I always like the service side, and it not being the one that did it, obviously, but like from the business perspective, it's just smaller jobs where your cash flow is more predictable. Than every time we delved into those big big renovations working for GCs, that it's, we got to wait for the holdback. That's, 6 months or whatever, we're just getting crushed with that cash flow. And like you said, waiting for someone else to do their job before we get paid made no sense to me. But,
that's why that's why I get money up front, and I kind of I'll only really work with builders that pay me as soon as I'm finished.
Yeah. Right. And that's probably tough to find, I would expect.
It's actually, I mean, believe it or not, it's not. If you come out the gate saying that, look, this is how I work.
Yeah.
Because they'll take it if they can. But there's a lot of, if you do high quality work and you're specialized in the industry that I work in, which is doing these high end remodels, and they know you're good and they know you've got good, quality recommendations and reviews, and you just tell them, look, this is how I get paid. This is how I work. I'm going to get paid when I'm done, or we're not going to work together.
Yeah. So Sims, you've been in business for 20 years or so?
I've been in the business for 21 years.
When did you launch your company? When did you launch Hatcher Plumbing officially?
2019.
Okay. So 4 or 5 years. And so since then, have you hired employees?
I've had some helpers.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of guys that were plumbers that worked for me. And I'm like a lot of guys out there, which I'm sure you've talked to them. The worst part of this industry is employees.
That's what I for sure. I mean, that is the colorful side of the colorful underside of this business. Always the bane of my existence, for sure. So yeah, having a hard time getting the, plumbers that would be able to pass a drug test. I can't tell you how many times guys would come in and I would give them a cup and they just walk out.
You know what? I'll tell you, I don't care if they do drugs, honest. I
Well,
mean,
all right. So
let's call
no,
a
no,
spade
no.
a spade.
I'd even kind of be like, all right, you know what? Wink, wink. We won't even look at some of those things. But you can't have like, if someone's like still got cocaine in their veins, uh, that's a liability, right? I mean, you got
Uh,
$10,000 pieces of equipment you're asking them to go, out there with by themselves, and they ended up
some
in
of
a
the
pawn
best.
shop, right?
Unfortunately, yes, there is that side to it. But I'll tell you, some of the best damn rough-end plumbers I ever seen were meth heads.
Yeah, I bet. I know. Yeah, and they're quick.
Not
They're quick
dependable,
with it, right?
not dependable, not
Yeah.
dependable, but damn hard workers.
Right, right.
Well,
But
we'll,
they're
we'll
few. That's few and far
Yeah,
between.
we'll
I
cut
mean,
that out so your
well,
insurance company doesn't hear that.
yeah, no, yeah.
Uh,
That's why I work. Well, that's why I work alone.
shifting gear segue out of that topic. You've obviously been in the arena for quite a while, Sims. I was wanting to talk about technology as far as Hatcher Plumbing over the years. What kind of role has it played? What do you use for you deal with your customers, invoicing, estimates, things like that?
Estimates I kind of do on my own. It's kind of do it the old school way. The jobs I do aren't large enough to really take on huge estimation, like bidding programs and stuff. I don't need that necessarily. And invoicing, I use a very small program that I downloaded. It's called Invoices, and it's kind of auto generates my numbers and auto generates the actual invoice for me to be able to just email it or text it right over to them.
We're gonna
Are
we're gonna
you
talk to you later on about we're gonna pitch our little thing after this is over.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
not
It
sure
could be
how
something
much you've looked into it, but we definitely probably have something for you. What about what kind of goals do you have with the business for yourself? Short term, long term? You just gonna keep rolling as you're going? Are you looking to grow, or what's
Yeah.
that looking like?
So my son worked for me for a while, probably the best employee I had.
Nice.
My stepson and my son have both worked in the industry, and they worked for me for a while and it went great, but I really wanted them to experience out in the real field, working for a big contractor, doing big commercial projects, stuff that I couldn't offer them. And so I kind of, open, let them open my wing up and let them fly and
There you go.
experience it, and I've told them, road dogs, if y'all don't know what road dogs are, they're the guys who travel around the country chasing big projects,
Yeah,
and they make massive amounts of money and per diem and get to travel, the country, if not the world. And I've told them, to get out there and do it, man. Make the money, do the stuff while you're single without kids.
yeah.
And
It's tough to do when you have
I-
a family, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've kind of told them, the door's always open for them to come back and eventually, hopefully, take over the business and grow it as they see fit. I mean, I'm happy with what I got. I don't necessarily need to have 20 employees
Take over the world.
running. Yeah, I don't need 10 projects going all the time, which I've had that. I did it early on, and it's honestly, I made less money and had way more of a headache.
So Sims, they talk about the iron triangle. I think I know what your answers to this are, but picking two, your services that you provide, quality, speed, or price.
Quality and price.
Yes, I guess
Speed,
right.
speed never creates a good end product.
I
Well
totally
said.
agree, and especially with your market, it seems like.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm doing a
so-
house right now that was built in 1906, and we're putting in. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
$25,000 plumbing project, and if I rush through that and try to slam it out as fast as humanly possible, I'm gonna have a crappy product, and
Yep.
that's not what I'm after. I'm after
Yep, I
people being like, "Holy shit! Did you see the job Hatcher Plumbing did over here?"
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
Quality's king with projects like that for sure.
I've come across some weird stuff, man. I found a probably 100-year-old can of empty Schlitz in a crawl space that's
Let's.
still sitting in my truck. And like I found
Cool.
it's really the cool stuff I find is old cans
Americana.
and old cans and jars and old Clorox bottles. And I think that stuff's I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to history and stuff.
Nothing wrong with that,
anything,
Sims.
That's
great.
That's Pope's old business, Tyson. All right, guys, we've covered a lot of ground. Sims, your story is inspiring, and we appreciate your time, sharing the challenges and insights that you've had. But before we wrap it up, what we want to ask you is, what would you suggest to someone in your shoes before you started the business? Maybe they're thinking about starting their own plumbing business and doing what you're doing. What would be the number one thing or idea that you want to convey to them and to either give them encouragement or disencouragement?
Hard work and attention to detail.
I like it.
And do what you say you're going to do.
Here, here. We hear that a lot. People, customers get so frustrated with people, and then guys like you get all the business because, people don't
especially
answer the phone. Simply,
in that plumbing industry, quality and reliability is massive.
Or show up for their podcast.
You made it. That's all that matters.
There's a bit of a distance. You come kind of do work over. Do you do work in Atlanta? Would you?
Actually, I
That's
have
where
family
we're
I have family in Atlanta. I wouldn't be opposed to doing a good remodel in Atlanta. I like the idea of, I've traveled a little bit to do jobs down to, we have like a lot of places in the South. We've got a lot of lakes in Alabama, and I've traveled to do a couple projects on the lakes around here.
Nice.
And it's nice to look out the window and see, a big old body of water while you're working.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
I hear you. All right. Well, that was an incredibly enlightening conversation. So a huge thank you to Sims Hatcher for sharing those valuable insights and stories. It is great to see, what you've been able to put into Hatcher Plumbing and what you're getting out of. And for all of you watching or listening, if you're in the greater Huntsville, Alabama area and you're in need of plumbing services, well, you can reach out to Hatcher Plumbing. You can find their contact information right there on the screen. They're ready to help you with your plumbing needs. You can trust you're working with a pro. Once again, thank you, Sims, for being here with us on Swivl Sessions. Thanks for listening or watching. Swivl's field service software is everything you need to run your field service for free. Until next time, check us out at swivl.tech. That's SWIVL.tech. And that's a wrap.